welcome to Sarah's Stamping Retreat. Today we're going to create 3 different cards using one Betterpress plate. I wanted to do that because I think because the Betterpress gives that nice letterpress look, I think it's easy to slip into just letterpressing a card front, and that's kind of how we use the Betterpress, but I want to use it in a few different ways and create a few different cards, show that there's a bit more flexibility to it. So to do that, I'm going to use this beautiful flower stems set from Spellbinders, and I was gifted this by Spellbinders, but when they gift me things, apart from obviously the clubs which are set, I always get given a choice of things. I just thought this was really beautiful. So you've got the flowers in the stems, and then you've got the coordinating dies. So I thought that was a really nice one to use in some different ways today. So for the first card that I'm going to create, I want kind of some leaves in the background. So I'm going to use my letterpress and arrange the leaves across here, but I don't want to use the flowers yet. So then let's get my Betterpress system ready to do that. So I'm popping those on, and then I'm going to use the Letterpress cotton cardstock. And I'm just going to attach that either end, just with a little bit of tape. You actually get a small roll of this Best Ever Craft tape in the kit when you buy a Betterpress. And then I'm going to use my Betterpress ink to ink it up. And again, this is the one that came in the Betterpress system. And then I'm going to pop that over there. I'm going to put it through my die cutting machine. So then I've got those lovely leaves there, and then I'm going to move those along, and then I'm going to print them again at this end. So then I've got those printed on there, and I think that looks really lovely. And then what I'm going to do is add on the flowers, but I'm just going to colour and then die cut these, so I don't need them to be in a specific space. So I'm just going to kind of squeeze them on, because I'm going to use the cotton press paper again, which is reasonably expensive, so I want to make the most of the space. So then I'm going to take this piece off, and I'm going to put a new piece on, and I'm going to ink up those flowers. And I wish I'd not put that quite so close to this edge, because obviously now that's kind of going off the edge a little bit. I'm going to die cut them all out. Then there are my 3 die cut flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and colour both the leaves for the background and the flowers for the foreground. So then I've coloured the leaves on here, and I've also coloured these flowers. So I'm going to glue my card front onto a card blank. So then I'm going to pop these flowers up on foam pads. Now I'm going to add them to my card. And I'm going to leave that stem to come off the bottom a little bit, because I'm going to chop those bottoms off so that they lay flat like these ones. And I'm going to turn that over and just trim these pieces off. So then I've got this Betterpress plate and die set. So you get all these sentiments and the die to cut them out. And I'm going to heat emboss those in white embossing powder on black cardstock. You may have seen me do this in my last Betterpress video. I'm just going to ink that up. I'm going to pop a bit of tape on the sides on this one, because I've cut it a bit wider than it needs to be. So I'm just going to add it very slightly to the sides. And then I'm just going to run it through my die cutting machine as usual. Don't know if you can see that on screen. It's probably pretty difficult to see. So let's cover that with my opaque bright white Superfine embossing powder. So now we've got this really nice heat emboss panel. Obviously that's not the way it's supposed to be used, so you can't really tell anymore that it's like got that letterpress look. Although when you look at it, the embossing looks like level with the paper as opposed to raised. So it does have a slightly different look to normal embossing. So then I'm going to use this coordinating die to cut it out. So now we've got all of these lovely sentiments. Really nice way to get loads at once. So then I'm going to take this sentiment and I'm just going to add it. So I'm going to add it over here. So I want a foam pad there where I've just put it. I want a little bit of foam pad under here, so I'll cut a little piece for there. And then I'm going to add a little glue in the middle. So then there's that card finished. And I think that looks really pretty with the extra dimension. So then for my next card, I'm going to use Salvaged Patina and Broken China Distress Oxide inks to cover the front of my card. So I'll start with the Salvaged Patina. Now I'm going to use Broken China up from the bottom. And then I Betterpress stamped and die cut all of these pieces in the same way I did for the first card. So what I want to do is add them across my card, and I'm going to lift them up on foam pads. So now that we've got those on, I'm going to trim off the excess. And then I'm going to take this happy birthday that we created with our press plate and I'm going to glue it on. And then I've got this Fresh Mint Little Things from Lucy's Cards. And I want to use some of these clear gems just to go in some of these little spaces. So I'm going to add these on with my glue. So I'm just going to pick them up with my pickup pencil, add on a dot of glue, and then put the gem on. I actually do have a lot of the adhesive back gems, but I tend to buy now more of these gems that you glue on yourself because it's not a heap of extra work. You tend to get more of a selection in a pack and they tend to be like less expensive per gem as well. So I don't know if you can see it on camera, but in real life you can actually see a bit of the glue through the gems at the moment. But I'm not worrying about that because the glue will dry clear and then the gems will both go back to clear as well. I think that's really pretty. So then for my final card, I've used the Essential Arches dies from Spellbinders, and I've used the largest one to create an arch card blank from pink cardstock. And to do that, I cut a card blank big enough to fit it, and then I just hung this. You can see there's just a slight gap down there where I've hung that slightly off the edge so that that fold line doesn't get cut and we get a nice arch shape card blank. But obviously because that's cut off, it is slightly not symmetrical, so I've cut another arch with the same die to add to the front of the card. And this one's going to be a super simple card. But sometimes those are nice to have in your stash because you can just kind of create them again and again and the time involved is minimal. So then I've cut this arch to fit this flower, which again I've Betterpress stamped and coloured in the same way as I've done all the others. And I've cut a black one with the arch that's one size bigger. So I'm going to layer those together. And then I'm going to add this to the front of my card. So then I'm going to add on my flower with foam pads. And actually you can see here that I made a mistake on the back when I was Betterpressing. But I just turned it over and did it again. And because it's quite a thick cardstock, it does allow you to do that. So I'm just going to pop that onto there, and then I've got this a little something to make you smile that I'm going to pop across here, and so I'm going to add foam pads to either end of that. And there's that really quick and simple one finished. And so then here are all of today's cards. I'd love to know which is your favourite. Please do let me know in the comments below. I hope this has given you some different ideas for things to do with your Betterpress plates. And also, if you don't have the Betterpress, then you can obviously also create this with any floral stamps that you've got in your collection as well. So if you'd enjoyed today's video, I'd really appreciate you clicking like below, and you can also press subscribe if you'd like to see future videos. If you press the bell button and select all, then YouTube will also notify you when I've got a new video available. All of the products that I've used for today's cards are listed in the description below, and there's also a link there to my blog where you can find a picture supply list if that helps you find what you're looking for. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.